Hello brides and grooms! Are you trying to figure out what style of wedding dance you want to have?
Well, in this video, we're gonna go over 3 specific styles that you can choose from to find out which is the best for you guys.
For those of you who are new to this channel, this is Joel.
And this is Clara. And we're professional ballroom dance teachers for the past 16 plus years.
We've been teaching total beginners up to world championship level dancers.
And we actually love teaching beginners to learn how to dance for their wedding dance.
Make sure you stay till the end of the video where we're going to show you how to access our free resources that'll help you with your wedding dance.
And as always, if you like this content, make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell button so that you're notified whenever Joel and Clara drop a new video for you guys.
Now let's get started.
So the first style that we want to talk to you guys about is the fully choreographed dance routine.
This is for people who want to put on a big splashy show for their guests.
Exactly, they want to show off to either a big operatic piece of music that really begs to have something really lavish and really grand, or possibly an iconic song that kind of people associate with different types of moves and figures, and therefore you have to be really choreographed to pull that off.
Either way, choreography is a big commitment. You need to learn all the different steps that you need to do on each of the different beats in the music.
Exactly, so there are beats and bars and lyrics, plus there are different figures, and you have to string that all together from the beginning, through the middle, and all the way to the end.
This can be a real big challenge, especially for beginners and especially if you've never done this kind of thing before.
Exactly, because not only are you learning how to dance, but you're also learning how to do the choreography at the same time.
We've had several couples come to us with choreography in mind. And we always warn them ahead of time that, you know, it is going to require a lot of time commitment. As well, it does create a little bit of stress between the partnership.
Exactly, talking about this reminds us of a specific couple. We'll name them Victor and Anna. Not the real names, but just something to kind of say. So Victor and Anna came to us and said, hey, we want to really do something special for the wedding. And we talked to them about it and said, well, you know, there's a lot of commitment involved, there's a lot of work involved, and possibly a lot of stress in the process.
But they were very enthusiastic and really gung-ho about getting started. And at first it was great. They were picking up the moves really easily, but at some point they did reach a saturation point.
Yeah, and what we mean by saturation point is this. As you learn little snippets of choreography, it's pretty easy to kind of redo and just do that over and over. But those are only in isolation. Once you start to put them together and together and together, it becomes so much more difficult. Say for instance, if you're trying to remember 3 letters, yeah, A, B, C, very easy. But if you start to string more and more letters, especially if you're not used to listening and thinking about those in orders, it becomes so much more difficult.
It's like spelling supercalifragilistic.
Exactly.
Good luck. Our daughters can do it, but not us.
Exactly. And so as Victor and Anna were going through, there was a point where Victor was starting to get really saturated and he was starting to get frustrated with himself as well as with Anna and trying to remember what was next in the choreography.
And in the end, he was just looking forward for the dance to be over.
Exactly.
And celebrate at the bar.
Exactly. So learning from Victor and Anna's experience, learning choreography, pushing through it, having a tough time, and then really wishing that it was just going to be over at the end of it. We suggest again that you guys are looking for at least a minimum of 6 months to a year of preparation time so that you are less stressed trying to remember choreography.
Not only do you have to have that lead up time, but you do need to be totally committed to practicing.
Exactly. So taking a week or 2 weeks off between lessons or between practices isn't going to cut it. You have to be quite consistent. And during those practices, you're going to have to do at least 20 to 40 minutes per session just so that you get that repetition over and over and over and you create more muscle memory for yourselves.
The second wedding dance style is what we call the just do it.
Sometimes we also call it the just show up and dance together.
Usually this is where the couple didn't prepare. They end up kind of shuffling back and forth. Right. We call it the grade 8 shuffle. And it gets a little bit awkward and boring for the guests.
Yeah, a lot of our students come and take lessons from us, whether it's online or in person, just for that very reason, because they saw either their friends or their relatives have that awkward, weird, or boring wedding dance together.
The just do it approach is great for people who already have some dance skills and can freestyle.
Exactly, or for those people that just don't have any time to prepare for the wedding dance.
But just be forewarned that 3 minutes of swaying back and forth does get a little tiring.
Exactly, so if you plan on doing that and you absolutely don't have any dance skills, then shorten that song as much as possible.
The third wedding dance style is the natural method.
Ooh.
This is for couples who don't necessarily want to put on a big show for the guests, but they want to share an intimate moment together where we're connected and just witnessed by others.
Exactly. So we're not necessarily doing a choreographed approach, but instead we have skills that we learn how to dance together as a couple, and we put that together in a flexible game plan that goes throughout the song from beginning through to the middle and finally has a nice ending.
The benefit to this method is that it'll be very natural and very authentic between the two of you.
Exactly. You're not trying to memorize choreography. And whenever you're thinking about choreography, you're not really thinking about your partnership, but you're thinking about what did my dance teacher tell me to do and what's on that piece of paper. So instead, we want to have a sense of connection and looking at each other and feeling each other in the dance.
Yeah, and being present and being in the moment together. It's a flexible approach so that if and when beginners make mistakes,
which is totally normal.
Which is totally normal. Yeah. It's not a big deal. It doesn't create too much stress because we're just communicating, and if we make mistakes when we speak, it's not a big deal.
Exactly. So when you're going through this natural method, we want you guys to be able to have an idea that if Joel wants to dance a certain action with Clara, Joel will lead her into that action. It might sound scary, almost like a just do it method, but because you've learned the skills and you've gone through some practices, not as much as choreography practices, but some practices, then we'll already know what's happening.
We always like to draw a parallel to essay writing. Start with a very strong introduction and end with a strong conclusion, because those are the things that people are going to remember, the start and the end.
Exactly.
And in the middle, as long as you have a few strong points outlined, then you can talk about them very naturally.
Exactly. So in terms of dancing, that would be, for instance, an underarm turn, a passing turn, maybe a spin or a dip or a lean or something like that as different points throughout. They don't have to be in a specific order. Neither do they have to be necessarily on specific beats or specific lyrics as if you're doing choreography. That totally releases the stress and the tension within the partnership, and especially with the leads, guys looking at you, in trying to make things perfect.
And from the guest's perspective, it's a lot more natural and very organic. It's just like when you're preparing for your speech. Probably you've thought about the intro, thought about the conclusion, and had a few points in between that you've kind of rehearsed in your head, but you haven't written all the ands, thes, and buts through the whole thing. So it's not like a script, a pre-prepared script. It's more natural and flowing, and the guests are going to appreciate that.
So if you're the type of couple that wants to put more value on the connection and the authenticity of your dance, then definitely go for this third style of dance. If you're again looking for something that's really strict, a little bit more showy, and definitely more, well, for our experience, more stressful, then definitely number one would be the right one for you. And if neither one or two, you don't care, or sorry, one or three, you don't care about them, well then there's number two, and you can just show up and do the dance.
So for those of you who'd like to learn more about the natural method, we have some free resources, like we mentioned earlier.
Exactly. We have a free download where you can go and learn the specifics and the structure of a game plan and going through a full song. It happens to be in the description below, so click that link.
Also down there, you'll find a link to our free masterclass.
Everyone can check it out. It's perfect for beginner dancers and you'll learn lots there.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell down below.
Thanks very much for watching this video. We look forward to seeing you in the next one.
Bye.